All right. Here we go. That was a little Matthew McConaughey apparently tonight. Not on purpose, but yeah, we're going live. I haven't been live in a while. I've kind of been under the weather recently, but sometimes you just gotta find a different gear and push forward. I am really excited to have a great conversation tonight. A little bit different than I usually talk about, but I think it's super valuable. And I have an awesome guest who has helped me with this certain topic area over the last couple of years when I was a government employee and helps a lot of people now. And she is just probably the most knowledgeable person I know to make sure that you travel successfully. So I've known her for about 3, 4 years. She has been in the working for the Office of Naval Research as a contractor for over 21 years, and she has crushed it as as long as I've known her as the person to go to for travel and everything, and so much so that a coworker that we know, Josh Thomas, just texted me and said, "Hey, she just did my travel," because he's watching us already. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the awesome Stephanie Kazimer-Jost. So, Stephanie, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Matt, for having me. Josh
Yeah.
did his own orders. I just added,
Oh,
yeah, he did a fabulous job there. If
oh,
I
that's awesome.
remember correctly, he is over in North Carolina, which is not far from me. I'm over in
Yeah.
Charlotte. I worked from home for the last 15 years, come next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's awesome. So, you're used to this whole work from home thing.
Oh, yes. I laughed when they sent everybody home because now everyone realizes how important it is to reply to that email. I am not asking that question just for the benefit of me. No, there's a reason why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I love it. And anyone that's worked with Stephanie just knows that like when you're in trouble, I've been in trouble. I've been on
On
travel
holidays, on
on
holidays,
on
holiday
holidays
weekend.
on a weekend and been able to call Stephanie and she knew how to fix it, what to do, and that's what we're going to talk about because as a government employee, while I'm not one anymore, or I'm kind of still in that space a lot, and it can be confusing. There's some tools that may work and don't work, and there's systems that may work and don't work, and that's what Stephanie knows. She knows how to make them work for you, and she knows kind of the a lot of the tips and tricks and how to be successful. And while we could probably spend this time complaining about what doesn't work, we're not going to do that. We're going to spend this time talking about ways to be successful when you're going on travel as a govy or in that govy military space. So I'll just kick it over to you, Stephanie. Just how did you get involved in the travel system?
Oh, I started way back when it was travel manager and you actually went in and you called Sato and they booked the flights and sent you an itinerary and then you would take the orders and you would take it to the travel office and they would fax them over to Sato and they would actually email the e-tickets or actually print tickets where we had tickets in hand. So then they turned around and they created the defense travel system. And it was an adjustment because you're going in and let's say so and so is leaving from DC. Okay, DC. Are you going from Dulles, DCA, or are you closer to Baltimore? And you want to see what the contracted flights are. So, a tool that I use for contracted flights, not using DTS, it's called Flight Government City Pairs. And the email address or the web address for that is called mygovtrip.com. So you can go in there and you can put in whatever airport you're flying from to the location where you're going, and it'll bring up all of the flights from one airport to another. And then there's another button that you click contracted, You click on that and it brings up all the government contracted flights. And then you can also choose nonstop flights or one stop. And sometimes, if you're going to Monterey, most of the time it's two stops. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
But it's a good tool to use, especially if you're traveling with a group and you're trying to match everything all up with. You can usually find flights if people are flying from different airports and trying to meet up in the same location. You can usually find flights within 30 minutes. So
Okay.
if you're sharing a rental cars are really expensive these days.
So are
Lack of
flights.
availability. What's
So
that?
so are flights.
Yes, those are going up as well because of the gas prices. Everything seems to be changing. We still have people using POVs, so you're getting, what is it, 0.568 per mile when you're using your POV. And when you're using your POV, you're only getting the mileage. You don't claim any gas receipts because that mileage takes that into
Yeah.
consideration. You can still claim tolls. You can use your Easy Pass. The Easy Pass does not have to be linked to the government credit card. You can use it and reimburse it to your personal account. You will have to justify that on the voucher.
So you're bringing up a point that drew a thought, and I think a lot of people that travel for the government most likely use DTS at some
Mm-hmm.
point, whether they use it to book or the voucher later. There's something that you always made sure that I had in my DTS, which was so that I could change it on the fly
Right.
without having to call somebody. What is
Variations authorized.
that?
It is under the justification screen right before you sign. You click on adding variations authorized. That means if your flight is canceled, you're authorized to get a hotel near the airport that you're stuck at. If the airline's not giving you a hotel because of mechanical problems, those things come up. But always make sure variations are authorized because things change.
Well, and without that, DTS has to call your supervisor and your approver.
Right.
And that's why, right? It's so that you can do it
Right.
without having to call anybody.
Exactly. So I make sure I try and put it on everyone's. Um, Things in DTS and SATO. When you book in the defense travel system, you choose your flights. When you sign it, it goes to CTO to book the flights. And then it comes back to me or another reviewer who looks at the flights, make sure the flights are correct, make sure your rental car's in there, hotel if you have chosen one, and we review it. We make sure any expenses are not missing, like lodging, taxes. If you go into some locations, they have resort fees. Try to avoid hotels with resort fees, but sometimes we're unable to do that. Make sure if you have a rental car, make sure you're putting down an estimate for the fuel. You want your authorization to be close to what it's actually going to cost. Now, when you're in DTS and choosing a hotel, there are three rates. There's preferred lodging, which is usually the lower amount the government wants you to use this amount. So say if you're in Norfolk, the preferred lodging is $84. The government per diem rate is $96. And sometimes you have those hotels that offer a government rate, which is $104. that is their government rate, which isn't the government rate, but that's what they're calling the government rate.
Sure.
If you're choosing those, you want to make sure that you are clicking under per diem amounts. It's going to show the $86 there. But if you're booking it at government rate, per diem rate, you need to click on there, actual amount to be authorized on the orders, and it'll produce a flag saying over the amount. So you're already telling the approver that you are going over the $86. The note I usually put in there is requesting government per diem amount, and I put in what that amount is. If it's over the amount and it's justifiable, a few dollars here, there, then just put it in there. Let them know beforehand when they're about to approve it that we are aware that we are spending more than what DTS says should be paying. This way,
Yeah.
they're not surprised when the voucher comes in.
And
Of
that's
why
really,
is this so much? It's easier to ask for it before than going back and correcting it in the end.
and that's good to know because not everybody has a Stephanie and can just be like, "Hey, I need help." Um, a
Well,
couple, a couple hellos real quick. Hi from Lindy Denny, my
yeah,
wife. She's saying hi, and then the wonderful Michael
Mike.
Lavery,
Oh yes.
Neil Mickwell, the travel magician. He calls you. So, what are some so separate from DTS in itself? What are some travel tips like that people can use when they're preparing for travel to make sure that they're successful?
If you need to make a change, you can make a change in DTS before the tickets are issued.
Hmm.
Tickets are issued 3 days prior to the travel. So, say I am traveling, today's June 8th. If I am traveling on the 21st, which is almost 2 weeks away, I
Uh-huh.
could go in and put in my orders and put in the times and go ahead and get everything booked, but then realize I need to get there a little bit earlier. I can go back into those orders and modify the outbound flight before it's ticketed.
Without it going through the whole approval process, or does it have to go
Right,
approval again?
right. If I do it tonight, some don't get it approved until the next day.
Hmm.
Or maybe if they're on travel, maybe the day after that. So you can see you can see if it's CTO booked, it means your flights are booked. So you can go in and modify it, amend it. You're going to modify it and change it to what you want it to be. And then it'll go through the booking again, back to the reviewer. The reviewer looks through it and advances it. And then the approver will approve it. So, once again, if I'm looking at the 21st, that's on a Tuesday, those tickets will be issued on the 17th because they don't count the weekend. It's 3 business days prior to traveling.
Okay, that's good to
That's
know.
when the tickets are released. You will get the email that says, this is your e-invoice. Keep this for your voucher. That is something that you want to keep and to put into your voucher.
Got it.
That is just showing. I know some commands have the CTO fees that's shown on that, but it is record that that has gone to your government credit card, and it has to be in the record. Hotel bills, rental cars, and flights receipts all have to go in to the voucher.
Hmm.
Anything over $75 needs to be uploaded to the voucher as well. The smaller ones can be added, but they are not required. It depends on the approving person. If they want to see every receipt, we can put in every receipt that they want to see. But usually it's rule of thumb under $75. It is not required.
So you're saying keep your receipts just in case
Keep,
until told otherwise.
yes. And there's nothing wrong with scanning them all in one document or separate documents. Believe me, anything that is sent to me, I have. When you're uploading those receipts to the vouchers, you can just drag and drop it. You don't have to save it as a PDF. If you click that box, when I go into review, I have to click it to download it to see it if you're checking that box. If you're not checking that box, when I go over to it, it's all right there. I don't know why it's an option in vouchers to click that box or not. It could be the way that people are uploading them. There are different ways, and it all works.
Awesome. Couple things here, Stephanie. So one,
Okay.
Gary Choplin says he always goes for Marriott and Hilton if they're in
Mm-hmm.
Per diem, because might as
Right.
well. He also has a question. He says, have you ever had to use DTS to pre-authorize travel months in advance? I've seen it and it's crazy.
Yes, I have seen that because when you are looking at the end of a fiscal year, we work on September, but we can travel on FY22 funds until the 15th of October. But everything has to be obligated in the system by a certain day in September. But then you're also looking at who's the contracted flights because they're changing around September, October, which
Yeah,
is always fun, but we can always request them.
yeah,
Um, Things that I have found with Marriott and Hilton, going into DTS and choosing the hotel and looking at the apps. Yes, I look at the apps too to see their government rates. They're different.
uh-huh,
Um, DTS rate for government maybe a little bit more than using the app and having the preferred numbers in there. I know with Hilton preferred members, you usually get a better rate lower than per diem because you're putting in there that you're looking for per diem. So they're usually the closest one.
Well, and I found sometimes not like if you're on the app or on the website out of DTS, um,
Mm-hmm.
just just not clicking the government rate, sometimes you'll actually be cheaper because they know the government rate is, and so they'll match it
Right,
exactly.
right. Yes, I've played around with it too of doing that. It's things that you're looking at are the cancellation fees.
Yeah,
Um, there was one I was looking at, and it was like 30 days in advance. If you canceled within that period, they were going to charge you the entire time. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
yeah,
Who knows what it's going to be like in 30 days
yeah,
of that travel? Are we going to shut down again or are things going to change?
yeah,
So,
definitely.
3 day, 2 day cancellations without penalties. Yes. Anytime I book things outside of DTS, in the justification screen, I always put what hotel, the confirmation number, the dates, and if I have the rate there, I'll put it in there too. That way, once again, it's all within the orders. This is what we're doing. And we're doing this because this rate is better than what we're finding in DTS.
Yeah, I like that. I have you triggered another question, but I'm going to wait because you got a couple more comments here.
Okay.
Um, one from Caitlin. She says,
Yep.
Thanks for helping my team today, Stephanie. Quick response time, and the team is ready to travel now.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
see, those that don't know, Stephanie's a travel magician. And Mike Lavery's got a question. He says, what is the most frustrating thing us travelers do that makes you want to shave a mohawk?
um, when you're traveling and you decide you're going to go into DTS and change your trip in DTS while you're on travel, yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. You can't. You can do it, but you're not going to get the tickets or the changes that you want. If you are on travel, you have tickets. We need to call Sato immediately to make the changes, and that way the tickets are issued and you have everything that you want.
So, what is the difference between
Also,
DPS and SATO?
yes, DTS is the system that we use. Sato are the wonderful people in the background booking those flights. If you're
Ah,
requesting flights and sending it to Sato to book, they don't get those messages all the time. And you will be holding anywhere from an hour to 4.5 hours on hold with Sato. If you are traveling within the next 72 hours, they really don't want to talk to you because they're so busy trying to get people who are on travel settled and changing and things like that. Yes, it seems a little excessive, but they're shorthanded too. When COVID happened, a lot of people left. So I keep talking to the same people all the time. They're very nice. I try to be sympathetic. I understand. I can multitask when I'm on hold, working on other things, walking around with all the record locators and giving them the information that they need. But yeah, if you're on travel, don't change it in DTS because it does not go through. If you have someone that helps you make changes and stuff like that, things that they need, the record locator, the changes, the dates that you're changing, um, your SATO number, because I work out of the Navy Yard SATO branch, but other people work out of different SATO offices. I do have links saved on my NMCI computer for requesting invoices for the people out of DAU. They have a different link, and I talk to them to get invoices and make changes. That's a different phone number than the Navy Yard phone number.
Hmm,
Marine Corps has a different phone number, and Air Force and all of that, but all of it is doable.
I like that. One thing I heard there was be kind to the people that are helping you because they are
Exactly.
trying as hard as they can.
Yes. And Fridays, I try to mix it up a little. So the 6-digit code that I need to give them, I try to make it fun on Fridays. So V is vodka, W is whiskey, T is tequila. And they always laugh. And they were like, thank you so much. You've made our day. I'm like, well, I know things are tough for you all these days. And she was like, thank you for understanding. I was like, well, I call at least once a day. It's okay. Um, Sato also has a chat feature for cancellation only and requesting e-invoices. But once again, you need to know your office that you're looking for.
Okay. Michael Lavery says he's got to run to a Cub Scout meeting. But Stephanie, thank you for everything you do. And Matt, thanks for providing a venue for people like Stephanie because you are the rock star. Stephanie has gotten me out of so many jams over the years. Other people, I've walked up to a friend of ours, a mutual coworker of ours, at their hotel on the phone, and they didn't have a hotel room, and she was like, "I'm on the phone with Stephanie. She's fixing it all for me."
And I even remember who that was.
Yep.
Was it John?
That's happened with John. It's also happened with Chloe.
Yes. Yes. My son's always looking at me like, Mom, do you know what time it is? Gotta fix something. Gotta fix something. We were, my son is 11 years old and he plays challenge ball. So we were heading to Asheville. And this is right after I did field day with his school. President of the PTA 21-22 school year. It is now over. But I had to be there for field day. And then I came home and someone's tickets were not issued. And they made changes on me. I was like, okay, I could do this. So I call Sato. 2 hours on hold. My son is now home from school. My husband's sitting here and they're looking at me. And I was like, I can't leave yet. I've got to fix this before I go. Well, can't you do it in the car? And I'm like, no, because once I get everything set, I'm the reviewer. It stops with me. So I had to wait for it to come through the system. So 2 hours later, I'm hitting review and it's going on to the approver. And I'm talking to him as we are stuck on 485 traffic. Like, I am so sorry it took so long, but you should have tickets. He's like, I do. Thank you so much. And then I could enjoy the rest of my weekend. But it's the whole thing of my phone number is my cell phone number and it's always with me. And you know that. A lot of people know that.
Yep.
They text me. And I've been trying not to do it on weekends. I've been trying to set the phone and walk away from it and not have it like leashed to my hand because I've got an 11-year-old. I've got a
Yeah.
husband who's retired Navy. He did his 20 years, got out, and that's why we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, because they don't tax his disability here. So it's a great place to live. I miss being somebody and actually coming into the office and getting dressed every day. And everyone thinks I'm sarcastic when I see them. I'm like, no, no, you don't understand. It's nice getting dressed, putting on makeup, getting my hair done before I come. But I haven't been there since the end of September, beginning of October
Wow.
last year.
Well, I am going to change one of your statements. You said you miss being somebody. You are somebody, Stephanie.
I am, but
You are
down
a
here,
rock
I'm
star.
Jacob's mom. I am
True.
Tom's wife.
True.
I am
True.
president of the PTA. Not anymore. But it's the whole thing of when you're up there, people are like, oh, yeah, I'll be standing in the hallway and talking to someone. And I'm like, I'm Stephanie. And they look at me and they're like, okay. And then 2 seconds later, it dawns on, oh, you're Stephanie. And I'm like, yes, I'm the person. You send it to me, I respond to you. I'm
I'm the
like,
person that saved your butt, pretty much.
no, no, it's the whole thing. It's a team effort. And the little things that I can do to make things better and easier for y'all to travel, that's why I'm there. That's
That's
how
awesome.
I look at it. Other people's like, oh, that's not my job. They're calling you because they need help. They're, it's, I'm not like that. I've never been like that. And I guess that's why I've been around almost 21 years. It's like, oh, so and so needs something. Okay, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
Saving the world one keystroke at a time.
One voucher at a time. You got it.
How do
That's
you want
awesome.
that split up? Hey, those that use Marriott and Hilton, sometimes it doesn't show when you pull it off the website what credit card you used. So if you're using your personal one and I don't know that, it's going to your government credit card instead of your personal because I can't determine which one it was.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. You got Gary Chaplin here, Chaplin saying, thanks for the tips. And then
I never know.
Jason Palmazal saying, coming back to the office is hard. for him. So before we go, Stephanie, is there other tips, tricks, things that you think people should know, or anything else you want to say?
Nothing within plan out prior to 2 days in advance when it comes to your travel. Just because we're getting into the summer months and people are going to be taking leave, and you don't know if your approvers have all the paperwork in to approve when you need them to approve it. Um, Things about the summer: go through Chicago. Try and avoid going through Dallas Fort Worth because of all of the thunderstorms that pop up. We're
That's
having them
good.
here in Charlotte today of, when those pop up, they're going to cancel flights or delay them, which may change your connecting flights. I try to avoid sending anyone through Minneapolis and Chicago during the winter months because I don't want anyone getting stuck. I'll send anyone through Denver all the time because they know how to clear the runways. That's the only bit of advice that I can give. I do deal with international travel, but that's another subject for another time.
Yeah, maybe
But
maybe that's another live is international travel on its own.
oh yeah, that's a whole other paperwork and who signs what and what command are you with. But every command is different.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking the information that I'm giving you all will help you travel with whatever command you're with. I know certain ones have NWAs in their line of accountings, and then ONR is completely different. We just have a line of accounting. We don't need to add any NWAs to it or anything like that.
yeah,
So I'm always trying to help everybody. Like, you need me to put what where? Because I do work with Crane and other people like that too. So
yeah.
there's a way to do it. I have found it and I use it to advantage for the people that are asking for help.
That's amazing, and that's why I
Using it
want.
for good, not
Yes,
evil.
using your powers for good.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted you on the show. This actually came to be because of a post I made about a few weeks ago about DTS and travel and in general and like tool versus people. Um, and Stephanie made a wonderfully long comment about some of the things that she talked about today. So if you did not pay attention, go back. A couple of things that I picked up from Stephanie or when you're traveling, pay attention to the weather patterns and the time of year when you're booking flights. Also, the biggest thing I picked up is make sure you remember there's a person behind the orders, there's a person behind that phone call. As frustrated as you are, there's people like Stephanie, like the Sato people, they're just trying to help you and they're trying to help you the best they can. So just remember they're human too and they want time off and just remember to tell them things
Mhm.
because they're people. Because Stephanie, you deserve time off, but graciously you do help those that need
The last time I took off was a week in 2019 before everything shut down.
it.
Yeah, when I go on vacation, I go where there's no internet because I refuse to pay for it.
There you go.
But that is more stressful for me than actually going on vacation and having my computer in tow.
Uh,
In case someone needs something,
yeah,
I'm available to do it. Might not be right that moment, but give me a few hours. I can get it done.
you're the travel magician, the superhero we all didn't realize we needed, but we all appreciate.
Yeah, because the system was designed for everybody to do their own.
Yes. But so, oh, actually, one more question before we go. So, is there training? Is there better ways for people to know how to use the system? I don't ever remember getting training. It was just kind of like figure it out.
When you go into DTS, down at the bottom, there's a portal for, it's called passports. And in there, you go in and check what your role is. and
Hmm,
there's training in there.
there you go.
Approvers have to go into that to take the mandatory training to be an approver. And there's a refresher every year that approvers have to take. Um, I have to take that training too for those that don't have access to DTS that travel, where I have access to do their orders, I do their vouchers, and then I send them the voucher paper where they have to sign the box and send it back to me so I can upload it for them to be reimbursed. Um, but yes, in there it is called Passport. It's down at the bottom of the login screen. You go in there, it's CAC enabled. You sign up for an account. You go in, you take a look at it. You know, hey, this is what I need to do, and this is what I want to learn more about. I've gone back and it's been a few years, but yes, I've gone in and retaken the training just to familiar. Even though I do it every day, people are like, "Oh, you do it so quickly." I'm like, "But I'm in it 4 or 5 times a day, working on whoever needs something. The more you use it, the better you become at it."
Yep.
Just remember to make sure you're putting in the purpose, where you're going, why you're going there, and why you can't do it virtually. Are certain things that justifications that I need to put in there for the travel itself.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, Stephanie, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Matt, for having me.
You're welcome. And everyone else, um, if you don't have an awesome human like Stephanie in your travel life, go and learn little bit about it. Go rewatch the episode. The episode will be out later. You can listen to it on the podcast, and hopefully her tips and tricks can help you. So, Stephanie, don't hang up. Everybody else, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
All
So,
right.
thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.